Welcome to the talk show Promising Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. And today we'll discuss about issues centering merge in the life of Bangladesh. And to suit the very purposes, we have invited two guests. One is Professor Farhad Hussain.
Thank you, sir.
He is basically an educationist and a political analyst. Other being Dr. Mamun.
Thank you for inviting me.
He is a writer, at the same time director and journalist. How are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Fine.
How are you?
Fine. Well, Professor Farhad, you are a part and parcel of Awami League, and I spent a lot of times there, and a founder of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. We are just passing the month of March, and March means a history in the life of Bangladesh. What is your overall understanding about this month?
Thank you, Sir Syed, that you have invited me in a particularly important show today. And you have selected March, the important month of the Bengali nation, you know. And particularly this month exactly indicated everything for the emergence of Bangladesh as an independent republic. This is very, very important. And I'd like to tell you one thing, that in the beginning of the creation of Pakistan in 1948, 21st March, Mr. Jinnah, Governor General of Pakistan, came to Dhaka and to deliver a speech in the historic Sarwardi Uddan, and then it was Racecourse Maidan, you know. He exactly made a very disappointing statement that Urdu and Urdu alone shall be the state language of Pakistan. And it was very disappointing to the people gathered there. The Governor General of Pakistan could not make this sort of statement, ignoring the culture, history, heritage, and the lingua franca of a nation, Bengali nation. In fact, Bengali nation raised the voice for the cause of Pakistan, you know, creation of Pakistan. And you know, the Bengali community were oppressed and suppressed by the feudal lords, particularly in East Bengal. And that is why the Bengali people during the time wanted to have the emancipation, and that is why it was the prime objective to create a state for them where they would get a particular status, a particular honorable status, and would get the economic emancipation. And that is why it was a loud voice from the Bengali community, particularly from East Bengal during the time, to create Pakistan as a state for the Muslim community. But seriously, it was disappointed by the statement given by the then Governor General Mahmud Ali Jinnah. And you know that I'd like to mention it in 1946 election. It was the election, and only in Bengal, Muslim League owned the majority by the spontaneous support of the Bengali people, and which caused a consolidating foundation for creating Pakistan, definitely. And Mr. H.S. Sarwardi exactly led the government in 1946. And it was a very stronghold position, particularly for the makers of Pakistan, to make Pakistan for the Muslim community in the soil of India. But the thing is that by the persuasion of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Yahya Khan postponed the assembly session, which is supposed to be held in 3rd March 1971, which created a very serious condition, exactly leading the people of Bangladesh exactly to a certain kind of movement. And you can recollect it very clearly that as soon as General Yahya exactly postponed the assembly session to be held, or scheduled to be held, in 3rd March, the cricket match was going on Dhaka Stadium, and it was stopped suddenly. The people exactly started rushing towards the house because they anticipated something wrong, something apprehending to them. And that was a serious position. And you know that people exactly did not go to their house. They took the position in the streets to make the demonstration. When Yahya Khan declared this sort of unexpected declaration to postpone the assembly, yes, General Assembly session, Bangabandhu exactly gathered all his MPs, member of parliament, either in the central body or in the provincial assembly, you know, in Purbani Hotel, and he drafted a resolution on the basis of 6 points, which is the Magna Carta in the history of Bangladesh. This is very important. The 6th point is the Magna Carta in the history of Bangladesh to be emerged Bangladesh as an independent country. And Pakistani oligarchy could understand that Bangabandhu had already decided his path to move towards one point, that is independence. I'd like to mention here today, in public meeting for the strategy, Bangabandhu used to say, it is my 6th point. But in private talking, he used to tell, 6th point is the gateway of 1 point, that is independence. That is very, very important. So Bangabandhu was resoluted, committed and determined exactly to go towards the way of getting one thing, that is independence.
I will come to you because very important phase it is. I'll come to you. Well,
thank you, sir.
Well, Dr. Mahmud, you listen to what Professor Farhad uttered very vehemently and assertively and eloquently, being one of the few persons in Bangladesh who is fortunate for his father. You are one of them. Your father was the teacher of Dhaka University at the same time, a giant figure in the field of drama, Bengali drama. And you have written so many things on him, on Bangladesh. And this is your first appearance in our talk show. What is your feelings?
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot, Sinha bhai, for inviting me to your talk show. This is the first time. I greet my audience. You are talking about the March of 1971, because in March of 1971, every day from the 1st of March to the 31st of March, it was history. History was made on that March. But what about the Constitution of Bangladesh? What does it say? We, the elected representatives of the people of Bangladesh, as honor bound by the mandate given to us by the people of Bangladesh, whose will supreme duly constituted ourselves into a constituent assembly, and having held mutual consultations, and in order to ensure for the people of Bangladesh equality, human dignity and social justice, declare and constitute Bangladesh to be a sovereign people's republic, and thereby confirm the declaration of independence already made by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. These 3 words, equality, human dignity and social justice, these are all uttered nowadays so in all the talk shows. But I like to bring a poetical analogy to this word equality. And it's a symbolic day. Today, this day is their March equinox. The equinox is the day when day and night is the same all over the world, all the country. Day and night is the same. And coincidentally enough, we are sitting on this day. Today, all over the country, all over the earth, all the days are equal in all countries. And that alludes to our equality in the Constitution. We can politically allude it to that. Now let's come back to March. March is historic in 1971, as I told, but March is historic before 1971 also for Bangladesh. For example, in 1920, on 17th March, a boy was born in a remote village of Bangladesh named Tungipara. And that was in the subdivision of Gopalganj. It wasn't even a district. In the greater district of Faridpur. A boy was born on 17th March in 1920, named Khoka. His father dearly named him Khoka. And who thought that within 55 years he would give birth to a nation? He would be a father of a nation. And that was also in March. It's a significant day, isn't it? Well, that was in 1920. But after that, in 1940 even, that was before 71 also. In 1940, when that boy, that Khoka, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, when he was 20, what happened in 20, in this day, 23rd of March, Shere Bangla ke Fazlul Haq, another person, Shere Bangla means the Tiger of Bengal. He was awarded the Tiger of Bengal by the British because Bengal tigers are famous worldwide. Shere Bangla ke Fazlul Haq declared the Lahore Resolution. That was on March also, in March 23. This day, today, 84 years ago today, what was written in that Lahore Declaration? Let me read it from here. Number 1 point was, while approving and endorsing the action taken by the Council and the Working Committee of the All India Muslim League, as indicated in their resolutions dated the 27th of August, 17th and 18th of September and 22nd of October 1939, and 3rd of February 1940. This was the point number 1. Let's go to the point number 3. What was that? Resolved that it is the considered view of this session of the All India Muslim League that no constitutional plan would be workable in the country or acceptable to the Muslims unless it is designed on the following basic principles, viz. The geographically contiguous units are demarcated into regions which should be so constituted with such territorial readjustment as may be necessary that the areas in which the Muslims are numerically in majority, as in the northwestern and eastern zones of India, should be grouped to constitute inverted comma independent states. To constitute independent states, there is a S at the last. Independent state in which the constituent units shall be autonomous and sovereign. That means in the Lahore Resolution, Shere Bangla ke Fazlul Haq claimed that there should be different states, which was after declared West Pakistan, which was East Pakistan. Those should be independent states.
Well, thank you very much. I will come to you again.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Well, viewers, we're going for a short break and come to you very soon. Please keep watching. Well, we are back to the talk show again. We're having talks with Professor Farhad Hussain and Dr. Mahmood Momen. Professor Farhad Hussain, you are talking about March, the heroic days of 1971. You know very well the 7th of March 1971, leading to the birth of Bangladesh on 26 March, which is called the Independence Day. What is your focus?
Thank you, Sinha. It's a very important question you asked me. 7th March, the inflammatory speech delivered by our father of the nation in the historic ground, Savardi Udyan. It is very important. I think that it is an inflammatory speech which might be compared to the Gettysburg Address, which might be compared to the speeches delivered by Cicero in Roman Parliament, which might be compared with King Luther King. Yes.
Martin Luther King. Yeah.
And Martin Luther
I
King.
have a dream.
Yeah, yes. And there are so many speeches. I think that all speeches had been superseded by the inflammatory speech delivered by Bangabandhu. It is a so fierce speech exactly he delivered. And the people were very much prepared, particularly by this speech. And for the first time, Bengali people could understand that it was the only way for the emancipation, that is independence. And Bangabandhu totally impliedly declared independence in his famous historic speech in 7th March 1971. Because it was a problem for Bangabandhu. Many advisors of Bangabandhu from his political party exactly requested him to go to UDI, Universal Declaration of Independence. But strategically it was not possible. Bangabandhu was far more matured, particularly in politics, and he used to deal with the Pakistani politicians, Pakistani army. He used to know their sentiment. That is why he adopted a certain kind of strategy, not to go to UDI, because the army in Dhaka cantonment was prepared and Air Force of Pakistan was highly prepared exactly to make the bombardment on the people gathered in the historic Savardi Udyan, where Bangabandhu was delivering his speech. And not only that, it was his sole responsibility to save the lives of the people gathered there, as well as his political colleagues, the national leaders, exactly sitting around him. And that is why he did not go to the UDI. But what he wanted to say, he exactly reflected it very clearly with a manifestating voice. And the people had understand and got the point what they exactly desired and wanted. And you know that since 7th March 1971, agitation, demonstration was going on. And not only that, it was a fire speech, and that is why Pakistan Information Ministry was not prepared exactly to televise this program or broadcast this program in radio and television. And you know, Rezwana Khan was the secretary, information secretary during the time. You know, he was a Pathan. He exactly attended an interview, and he disclosed it that I was requested, but I could not exactly do something on the pressure of Yahya government. And when Bengali officers working in radio and television, they exactly had gone to a strike, not to make the publicity of any programs, and finding no other alternative. Next day, it is at 8:30 or 9 a.m. You know that the permission was given to deliver the speech. It is my experience. I came from village. I was living in village with my parents during the time. We had a radio, that is Morphy radio, 4-band, and it was a radio of high sound. You know, people gathered in a house, you know, in a yard of a house, you know, and the radio was set up on a table, reading table of us, and Bangabandhu started his speech. That means he delivered the speech. He delivered the last day, but it was telecasted and it was broadcasted through radio and television. People gathered there. They were exactly under a fierce action, a reaction you cannot imagine. What was the reaction at all? They were going to their house. It does not mean they're going house to take the resort. No, they were taking their indigenous arms and ammunitions. They are going to the district and subdivisional town to face the Pakistan army. It was the reaction of the common people, peasants, cultivators, general working people. And Bangabandhu exactly touched the mind, sentiment of the people by this so inflammatory speech. And consequently, you know that what happened, which this speech exactly followed, very tragic things, you know, that Bangabandhu was prepared for this. And that is why what we had seen, the 25th March, the genocide started to be committed by Pakistan Army. The Pakistan Army exactly took a decision exactly to bring a solution by military action, and consequently what we had seen, the genocide. It was a complete genocide of killing the innocent people by Pakistani occupying army. In 25th March, the world had ever seen a genocide. Yes, after the Second World War. And Bangabandhu was prepared. And that is why he made the draft of declaring independence. And after 25th March, soon after, or 26th March, 26th March, Bangabandhu declared independence.
Thank you very much. I will come to you again.
And that is why March is so important.
Thank you very much. Well, Dr. Mahmud, what is your overall realization about the whole march, happenings in the march?
Okay, I'm coming to March 1971. I'm coming.
You just concentrate yourself to the March 71.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't go beyond.
No, but
don't go to the past.
Yeah. What Farhad bhai, what was I saying about the Lahore Resolution? Independent states. Bangladesh could have been independent by then, but we had to wait for 23 years under suppression of Pakistani regime.
Mahmoud bhai, let me have a little bit privilege to make a little correction about Lahore Resolution. It was drafted by Mr. Jinnah.
Mr. Jinnah?
No. Yes, but it was not drafted by Shere Bangla.
Yeah, but
it was drafted by Mr. Jinnah. And Mr. Jinnah, in the first drafting, you know, he used the states.
Yeah.
But ultimately, states as was exactly.
Yeah, that was so rude.
Removed.
Yeah.
And it was state.
Yeah,
it was the conspiracy of the Pakistani oligarchy.
Yeah,
and Mr. Jinnah was used by them.
Yeah, that was a conspiracy. Yeah. Well, now let's come back to March 71. Well, what Farhad bhai told about there was a cricket match going on. There was no one-dayers or 2020 matches by then. There was only test matches. It was a 4-day match from 26, 27, 28 February, and the last day was 1st March. My elder brothers were present there on the stadium, which is now Bangabandhu Stadium. That was the Dhaka Stadium called then. And when actually Yahya Khan was supposed to convene the parliament 2 days later, on 3rd of March, and that day, while the cricket match was going on after lunch, he declared on radio that it was prorogue sine rai, that no parliament session would sit on 3rd March. And right after that announcement on the radio, Yahya Khan's voice, the whole stadium got on fire. The audience, the Bengali who came to see the match, they put fire on the galleries, and the Pakistani players, it was a match between maybe Commonwealth 11 and Pakistan 11. One Bengali was there, Rakibul Hassan, and all the other 10 Pakistani players got frightened. They rushed to the pavilion that the Bengalis will kill us, like that. And that happened, the whole...
Imran Khan was a player, junior player.
No.
Imran Khan was the junior player. He left the stadium.
Yeah, junior player. Yes. Actually, Sarfaraz Nawaz, Intikhab Walum,
yes,
they were then. Mustaq Ahmed. Imran Khan was a junior player, yeah, right. Yes. And what I heard from my elder brothers, that the whole stadium came out on the street. And Purbani was just beside the stadium, yes, and there Bangabandhu was, what Farhad Bhai just told. Bangabandhu was on the meeting. And they went to Bangabandhu to what to do, what next. And that time, from the 1st of March up till the 25th of March, the country was the Bangabandhu government. Bangladesh was independent by then. The country was going through, as a matter of fact, on 7th March, what Farhad Bhai told. Bangabandhu declared all the radio and TV personnel should refrain from going to work if Pakistan authorities want to give their propaganda. What they should broadcast? They should broadcast the Bengali literature and Bengali culture, and they should broadcast for that's why 7th March speech was not broadcast live. The Bengali employees of the radio came out. We won't do it. Well, going back to March 1, March has, as I told, every day of 1971's March was so important. March 2nd, that's on March 2nd, the students of Dhaka University hoisted the flag of Bangladesh.
Yes.
Bangabandhu gave that fierce speech, that historic speech. Ebare Shangram, amader Mukti Shangram. Ebare Shangram, Shadhinata Shangram. The struggle this time is for our emancipation. The struggle this time is for our independence. And Memories of the World of UNESCO has, that speech was so fiery and so worldwide famous that Memories of the World of UNESCO has listed 437 items in its from the prehistory. In the 5,000 years of history, there are only 437 items which are included in the Memories of the World. And that speech is one of them. That is often compared to what Farhad Bhai told, compared to the Gettysburg Address of Abraham Lincoln or the I Have a Dream speech of Martin Luther King. But I think, in my opinion, in my research, Bangabandhu is not only the greatest Bengali of all time. It's an understatement. Bangabandhu is more than that. He is one of the greatest leaders of all time of all over the world. So Abraham Lincoln gave that speech. Abraham Lincoln was a great leader, but what his vision was is not still achieved today. But Bangabandhu is such a leader who is greater than Abraham Lincoln, because after Abraham Lincoln's one speech, that famous speech, that Gettysburg Address, the black people are still not emancipated. More than 100 years have passed, more than 150 years have passed. But Bangabandhu gave such a speech, within 9 months, the people of Bangladesh became emancipated. What does that mean? That means within 9 months, Bangabandhu achieved what he wanted to achieve, which Abraham Lincoln hasn't achieved yet. So who is the greater leader? Is Abraham Lincoln the greater leader, or Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman the greater leader? And to come to another point, Bangabandhu emancipated 7.5 crore people. That means 75 million people. And what George Washington, when he emancipated America, it was only 35 lakhs, the population. Bangabandhu emancipated 75 million people. So his achievement is even greater than George Washington, because the people matters. If I go on Antarctica and I claim that I am the father of this nation, I take on Antarctica with only 1,000 scientists or something. Antarctica is a big land, but if I call myself the father of the nation of Antarctica, that would mean nothing. Why Bangabandhu is important? Because he emancipated 75 million people, which George Washington couldn't do. George Washington emancipated only 3 million people. So Bangabandhu is greater than George Washington or Abraham Lincoln, in my opinion. And now let's come back to the
Thank you very much. I will come to you.
Yeah.
You have touched a very important issue. At the same time, you made an analogy, which is something different, to me at least. And thank you very much. Well, viewers are going for a short break and come to you very soon. Please keep watching. Viewers, we are back to the talk show Promising Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. And we were having talks with Professor Farhad Hussain and Dr. Mahmud Momain. Professor Farhad Hussain, Dr. Mahmud Momain raised an issue with his own logic, understanding and analysis. And this is a very big question indeed in the context of space, time and dimension.
Exactly.
How do you conclude?
I'd like to make the conclusion that Mr. Mahmud Momain is quite right. On what context, this is very important. You know that Bangabandhu had to undergo a serious mental pressure because he used to get the information from different agencies that Pakistani oligarchy, particularly the military dictators, were exactly taking the preparation for genocide, for committing genocide, killing the people, exactly to subjugate the voice of the Bengali nation.
Army was coming. Yeah.
Yes, army was coming. And you know that the conversation and dialogue going on between Bhutto and Bangabandhu between Yahya Khan. Yeah, it was just like the pseudo attitude. It was a drama exactly played by the Pakistani oligarchy. They exactly started they started taking the preparation exactly to go to the military action. And you know that in 1st March, you know, that when Admiral Ehsan, the governor of then East Pakistan, resigned because he was under pressure to go to the to go to the genocide, to go to the common people, to go to the military action. And Admiral Ehsan was not mentally prepared exactly to conduct this sort of unpleasant and atrocious work, and that is why he resigned. And then Sahib Jada Yaqub Khan, Lieutenant General, was appointed as the governor, and he was also made the pressure exactly to go to the genocide, to go to the scheme of subjugation, the voice by military action. And he exactly, for the first time, he made some steps on the publicity, on newspapers, you know, on radio and television. No news could be exactly produced or reported which might be detrimental to the integration of Pakistan. But exactly the situation was going it's going to a very unrest position, and that is why, realizing the situation, General Yaqub exactly resigned, and finding no other alternative, the final man who was invited to take the governorship and the martial administrator, he is Tika Khan, who is exactly earned infamous
Butcher of Balochistan.
story, the Butcher of Balochistan. He exactly made an atrocious killing. He conducted an atrocious killing in Balochistan.
Eventually became the Butcher of Bengal also.
Yes, subjugated the voice of the Baluch independence-loving people, and you know, and that is why Tika Khan was hired. And he exactly, Tika Khan implemented this sort of atrocious, brutal scheme of killing the innocent people in 1st March. Bangabandhu used to know everything. He started exactly, he was under a serious mental pressure. Very important thing for the context of history and for the sake of history, when the history will be written in the coming days, it should be noted. Even before 7th March, when Bangabandhu was exactly getting this sort of reverse news, exactly, that the military was taking preparation to kill the common people, to subjugate their voice in favor of the independence of Bangladesh. Bangabandhu sent one person, Kalidas Buddha, to Calcutta, and one person had already been there, and he was a member of parliament in 1954. I have forgotten his name. And these two persons were exactly taking the preparation when our national leaders would go cross the border, you know, and they so that they could get a certain kind of stage to form a government. And accordingly, it was so. and military. I'd like to remember the two names for the first time with great respect, with great honor, homage and tribute. One is Gulak Majumdar. He was the chief of West Bengal BSF, and Rustamji, who was the Director General of All India BSF. You know, the two persons exactly came to Calcutta to help the exiled government, you know, the interim government headed by Tajuddin. You know, they exactly made the stage. And these two persons brought the whole team, including Tajuddin and his associate Nazrul Islam, Captain Mansoor Ali, Abu Hana, Kamruzzaman, to Indira Gandhi. And I'd like to mention the name with great respect. Another person who is a bureaucrat, very strong bureaucrat in foreign service. He was P.N. Haksa, Parameshwar Narayan Haksa. He was a man of foreign service, but by choice, Indira Gandhi exactly took him as his principal secretary. And you know that, and they exactly sat together. I'd like to mention the name of another Bengali. His name is not mentioned very frequently today. It is unfortunately Professor Rehman Subhan. You know, Rehman Subhan had already been there, and Rehman Subhan's close friend was Amartya Sen, who was teaching in Delhi University, you know, with his wife, first wife, you know. And Rehman Subhan had a very connection with Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi never saw any leader of Awami League, even Bangabandhu. But Indira Gandhi used to know Rehman Subhan because Rehman Subhan married Salma Subhan, who is the niece of Hidayatullah, the acting president of India. And you know that by this time, Indira Gandhi offered a dinner for the honor of the president's guest, you know, Rehman Subhan and Salma Subhan, newly married. And when Rehman Subhan had given his oral credential, Indira Gandhi uttered this, I know you very much. You know, I know. And exactly the meeting was held, and it was a successful meeting to form the government, exiled government, which exactly led the War of Independence during whole 9 months. But Bangabandhu had given the spirit. Bangabandhu exactly prepared all the stages of forming the government, what might be done. He deployed his own people in Calcutta particularly.
Thank you very much. You have unfolded a very important phase of the history, because hardly people knows very well that what is happening before birth of Bangladesh, and what the role Bangabandhu played from behind the scene, what the role intellectual played here. So many things are not in discussion.
I would like to mention the name Chittaranjan Sutar.
Yes.
Who was a very key figure exactly to form the government.
And that was there is a very big chapter indeed. Yes. And definitely we will have more talks in the coming days. Well, thank you very much. Well, Dr. Mahmud, please concentrate yourself exclusively. March
of 1971.
Especially the day 26.
Okay, I'm going to that. Well, after on March 14, Yahya Khan came, and look what Farhad Bhai told. He didn't on the 7th of March. Bangabandhu didn't declare independence directly, which he did on 26th of March. That from today Bangladesh is independent. He didn't tell that day. Why? Because of his acumen. Because he is a greater leader than Abraham Lincoln. He took 25 days because it would have been an UDI. Tika Khan will shoot him right now from the helicopter right then. If he had said that, he tactically kept the word independence came tactically in his speech, but he didn't declare that from today Bangladesh is independent. That's so tactical of him. And why he didn't do that? If he did UDI, he was the elected leader of the Bengalis, elected leader of whole Pakistan. He was supposed to be the Prime Minister of Pakistan. In the Second World War, up to 6 years, from 1939 to 1945, Hitler killed 6 million people. For 5 years, 6 years. And in Bangladesh, only in 9 months, 3 million, half of them were killed. So, but it's a pity, it's a shame that the Bangladesh genocide is not recognized by the UN. It's a pity, it's a shame. It should be. I have a plan to make a movie on Bangabandhu's life, poet of politics. By the way, the name given to Bangabandhu, poet of politics, Lauren Jenkins. He is still living and he's a friend of mine. I have planned a movie to be named the poet of politics. The movie by Shyam Benegal is good, not bad. There are some mistakes, but it's a good movie. So in that, we should project to the world that what happened on 25th March. It was a genocide, and it was a failure on our part also when United Nations was searching for a date to make a World Genocide Day, and we couldn't give the date there. That World Genocide Day is observed right now with a smaller I don't know what date it is, but it should have been 25th March, because that's the day in the history of the world most people were killed, and within 9 months 3 million people were killed by Pakistani brutalities. Why they were killed? Because they wanted the land. They said that mujhe zameen chahiye, aadmi nahi chahiye. We want the land, we don't want Bengali people. They are Hindus. They were saying it. That's why they were killing, just killing mercilessly, raping, killing, and that went on for the 9 months. But coming back to March, what's your point, historic March? Coming back to March, at 25th night, that happened. Bangabandhu gave the declaration, from today Bangladesh is independent, like that. And he was arrested on that night in there. And after that, he was arrested, and I had a friend who lived in the Sobhanbagh quarters. And I just from 2 years ago, I heard it from him. Just 50 years later, suddenly I heard it from him. He was in Sobhanbagh. When Bangabandhu was arrested from Dhanmandi 32, and that Pakistan Army took him to the stairs of the Jatiyo Sangrat Bhavan now, which was under construction then, which is not completed. And it took him to there. And my friend from the Sobhanbagh quarters, it was right next to the road, he heard Bangabandhu shouting Joy Bangla from that military carriage, military truck. This is new to me. Yeah, he should have, he was the only person who, under that condition, could also utter Joy Bangla. And he was taken then, and after that, when I may come to on 27th March, the Shadhin Bangla Betar Kendra was created, and Mr. Hannan read out Bangabandhu's speech from there. And after that, in 27th March, Ziaur Rahman was summoned in, and to say about Bangabandhu, and he was written that in that it was a distortion of history that he is the proclaimer of independence. It's a distortion. What he said that I, Major Ziaur Rahman, in the name of our great national leader, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, do hereby declare the independence. That was drafted by the radio people, and I may come. Ziaur Rahman wrote an article in Weekly Bichitra, Ekti Jatir Janmo, the birth of a nation, in 1972. He said that 7th March signal of Bangabandhu, 7th March speech was our green signal. And the name of the article is Ekti Jatir Janmo, not a birth of a nation, not a birth of a state, or not a birth of a country. It's a birth of a nation. What does that mean? Bengali nation was prevailing from thousands of years. But Ziaur Rahman thought that it was the birth of a nation. And who gave it to the green signal? Bangabandhu gave green signal to the birth of a nation. So Ziaur Rahman acknowledged that Bangabandhu is the father of the nation, because the article was the birth of a nation. So his disciples are claiming that Ziaur Rahman declared independence. That's a total false. Ziaur Rahman himself claimed that Bangabandhu is the father of a nation. Ziaur Rahman got the 19th place in the BBC survey. That's enough. He got the Sarwardi is number 20. He is over than Sarwardi. That's enough for him. He couldn't be compared with Bangabandhu. Nobody, not even Sarwardi could be compared. Sarwardi mentored Bangabandhu, but he was the mentor of him. But the disciple surpassed the leader.
He was not the creator of the state. Sarwardi was not the creator of the state. Bangabandhu is the creator of the state. And he might be compared with Mr. Jinnah, Gandhi, Kemal Ataturk, and others.
Kemal Ataturk maybe. Jinnah was accidentally become the father of the nation. Actually, he might be compared to Gandhi. But that's why Bangabandhu has such a long place, and all the directives were given in 1971 7th March speech. That happened in still March, that March is still historic. On 28th March.
Just tradition.
Yeah.
Is Gandhi the father of the nation of India?
He is considered by Indians, but there may be some disputes.
This is not the question of consideration. Is there any constitutional provision in India that there is a father of the nation?
I'm not sure actually. Farhad bhai may light on that.
No. There is no father of the nation in India.
Yeah.
He is called Bapuji.
Bapuji. Yeah.
Out of affection and love.
It is a Gujarati Bhasha Bapuji, means
Bapuji
father.
Yeah. But in Wikipedia, you can get about 80, there are 200 countries in the world right now, but about 80 countries have their father of the nation. In Wikipedia there is a list, but in there also, Bangabandhu is the one, the Australian father of the nation, he gave a speech to emancipate him from the British rule, and his speech, as he was given the speech, he was claimed the father of the nation. And only Bangabandhu alludes to that his 7th March speech means, as a matter of fact, it isn't disputable.
Thank you very much for your speech. We have drawn up a picture which is something different from normal ongoing landscapes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Farhad Hussain, and thank you very much, Dr. Mahbub.
Thank you to you also.
Well, viewers, we are about to end this talk show, and before ending the talk show, I have to summarize what the two speakers spoke here. And from the point of view of patriotism and the sense of affiliation with the birth of Bangladesh, both of them were very high and very sensitive and very sympathetic and very logical indeed. And both of them spoke categorically, logically, what happened in the time of month of March 1971. And March is not a march. It is a march for the birth of Bangladesh. Double meaning here. And it is a march to raise the voice of the people of the then East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. It is a march that gave birth to a nation and to a person who became finally the father of the nation. And what is more important is that Dr. Mahmud unfolded a chapter which is mostly unknown so far, and that should be taken care of by the party in power. Especially I pay attention to the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who is also the eldest daughter of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He should take stock of the speeches these two giant intellectuals uttered here. Many things are not being discussed and many things are being discussed. What is more important is that truth is truth. Let there be light in our life, in the light of reality and truth. Let there be light in our life in the light of what actually happens in those days. Let there be light in our life. What is Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman? He is a mere statesman? Is he only narrator? No. He is a leader. And who is a leader? If you want to know who is a leader, go through the pages of his writings. Go through the pages of history. How a boy, within a very short span of life and time, rose to the height, and he is Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Let us pray to the Almighty Allah. Oh Allah, bless him, bless the nation, bless the people. And thank you very much to all.